What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from the quarantine zone again, and this time we are here with Mirka of Circus of Rock. Thank you so much for being here today, man. Great to have you here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it.
really appreciate it
Yeah, I.
being on your show.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on the show because this album, Come One, Come All, is definitely what I call the ultimate Circus of Rock. Like when I hear the term Circus of Rock, I can't think of an album to listen to that title more. You know what I mean? So it's great to be able to chat with you about this. The first question I wanted to ask you about this album, Come One, Come All, is that you brought out a great roster of guests on here, from Elise, from Amaranthine to Passy of Thunderstone to so many other great musicians. Great roster. Was this like an idea that originally spawned from the making of this album, or was this just a last minute sort of idea?
No, actually, actually, at the first of all, I wanted that there's a lot of lot of good friend of mine on the album and music colleagues from the back in the days. So it was. I really knew that there will be a lot of people on the album, and I really wanted that everyone from my career uh, joined me in the album. So I was really lucky that everyone said yes at the first time. So yeah, it was big project, but now there's I had almost 40 singers and players uh, on the album, and so yeah, specifically to I it was to have fun with all the bandmates and other music friends and play great hard rock songs together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And being that because Amaranth, I feel like, has different views than a band like Hardline, very different from a band like Master Plan or something like that. So do you almost felt like every song almost had to play by its own rules, or was there kind of like a formula that sort of like tied all the different elements together?
Uh, no, actually, you know, I've how can I say that? Um uh, wait a second. I have to, because my English. I have to think about a little bit. Um, because the songs were written or more or less at the beginning of 2020, and 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 so I just decided with who singer will sing on which song and who musician will play on which song. So I have to. It was a big project to check out who's the best one to which song, and it wasn't easy project to do, because but uh, but I think it's finally I did it pretty well. So the example, if we think about the songs like In Times of Despair, which is sung by Ellis Root, so I think it fits very well for her, and if we think about the song called first single Desperate Cross, I think it fits perfectly for Johnny Gioli, and yes, but yeah, that was the main thing, how the I have to choose the people for the songs.
Hmm. Yeah, and being you mentioned that these songs are written at like the beginning of 2020, and these songs maybe change a lot over a span of time between now and 2021, or is how we're hearing these songs originally how they were structured?
Actually, at the beginning of 2020, when I started ordering songs for the album from different composers, and they were ready even before the summer. Uh, it had also been decided during the summer which singers and musicians would perform in which song, and so, but actually they didn't change so much. So because the composers sent me some pretty well-made demos that were, adapted as needed. So there wasn't much to do about a few songs. They were so good already that the final version were almost played straight like a demo. Of course, every player and singer brings their own tones and styles to them, but so the demos always change somewhat. But yeah, not so much changes.
And I'd imagine when you collaborate with so many artists that it teaches you new tricks and teaches you new stuff about your craft as well, right?
Uh, if I talk about the recordings,
Yeah.
because the recordings went very well, and you don't have to worry about the restrictions when almost everyone does their part either in their own home studio or in another studio. So but you can imagine that the file traffic was absolutely huge when each one had more than one final track to work on, and when the base material was made, I sent them to the singers, or we went together with some to sing them in the studio. And together with audio engineer and mixer Kimmo Ahola, we had to make a real-time, accurate diary online of what tracks have come and what has been loaded onto the machine, etc. Otherwise, we would have gotten lost with them. But yeah, that was a hell of a job.
Yeah. And being that you've played with so many artists before, playing with bands such as King Company and Warman and so many others, like, is it a different creative mindset playing with doing Circus of Rock versus all the other projects that you were playing before, or is there anything that makes them kind of similar?
Actually, this is a little bit different because this is my first album, where I'm responsible for alone, and I can lean on my bandmates. So because normally with these bands like King Company, Thunderstone, Warman, whatever, I'm just a drummer. I'm just I don't have to do anything but to play drums. But now I have to plan everything by myself, except I have to give an interviews and and things like that. I have to do all promoting by myself, and this is really new for me because normally I have been just a drummer in a band, so nothing else. So this is, I have to say, this is really different now.
All the pressure is on you this time, right?
Yes, that's true. Although I'm really, yes, I have to say that I'm a little excited as I wait for the feedback from the album, because yes, like I said, now I'm alone. so I just, yeah, but I think if I get negative feedback, I'm old enough to be able to accept it just fine.
Yeah. Hey, it's at least it keeps people talking. That's what rock and roll does. It keeps people talking.
Yeah, that's true. That's rock and roll. Yeah.
And but you also have a great team of people behind you as well, with the people at Frontiers as well. And I think so. You're not all alone. You're not all alone this time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that I've been working with Frontiers for several years because we released 2 albums with King Company with them. So I already know people from there well. as everyone knows, they release a lot of music this style and have a lot of old legendary artists with their company. So I think it was pretty clear that the album will come through them, and I'm happy with them, and I think they will support me,
Mm,
hopefully
yeah.
a lot.
They're the power metal record capital. That's what I call it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true, and it's growing all the time. So it's fun because I remember maybe 20 years ago when they started, it was it was really small company, and now it's a pretty huge, actually, big, one of the biggest independent labels
Yeah. I
in the
I
world.
I didn't know that they were younger than most of the bands that they have signed.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, and
fun.
and being that this is the first solo album, do you see yourself doing more solo albums of Circus of Rock in the future and bringing more guests that you haven't done before, or is this sort of like a one-off experiment in a way?
Actually, originally, this was only supposed to be one record, but when there's so much fun, and I have several wonderful old musicians friends that I still want to be part of course, I have already started preparing the next album. And of course, I also want to include singers and musicians I have never collaborated with before. So I think there's some really great surprises coming. I already know that, but I can't reveal yet until everything is definitely agreed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I think I will start doing the next album beginning of 2022 at the latest, maybe even sooner, because I really want to do the next album.
Yeah. And again, because I think when it's very collaborative, I think it's always gonna expand ideas and incorporate make you incorporate things that you never knew that you were capable of too. Is there like if you, obviously you can't give too much away, but if you could collaborate with any artist for the future of Circus of Rock, who would you like to have on?
Oh yeah, that's a good question, but yeah, there's a lot of them.
Hmm.
There's a lot of them, uh, what can I say? I would I there I would like to get, I would like to, if I mention some guitarists, I want Jakey Lee for my album. You remember this guitarist from Ozzy Osbourne,
Yeah.
and also I want John Sykes for my album. Of course, I'd like to join Tony Martin and John Lande as singers, but David Coverdale would be the biggest thing I want on my record. But I think it's going to be a dream come true. But maybe David, if you hear now, please call me.
We got to make that happen. We got to make that
Yeah,
happen.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah, yes.
yeah. So
Yeah, but yeah,
yeah. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Is there just anything else with Circus of Rock that you would like to promote for the release of Come One, Come All? Like, can you see maybe Circus of Rock doing some sort of live performance in a way to support this album?
yeah. Actually, to be honest, I just chatted with one booking agent, and we agreed that he would arrange a tour at some point, but it won't happen anytime soon. But but this is really only at the design stage. But something will happen at some point. It is for sure, but I don't know when. But hopefully in the future.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Circus of Rock. Be sure to check out Come One, Come All. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.